When she came to stay, I thought it would be for a few weeks. Then she would go to college, and exposed to classrooms and peers, it would be too risky for her to live with someone high risk like me. I loved my peace. I loved the space I had created for myself. I loved my little hideout that existed in my mind as a sort of treehouse floating above the city. In the past years, my space had become an extension of my body, sacred somehow, intrinsically linked to my independence. I was excited to have her with me for 3 weeks, but part of me suspected that by the end of the weeks, a day would come when I would be excited to have my own space again. But that day never came. And as much as I valued my peace and silence and freedom, here came a new peace. The peace of being grounded by somebody else's presence. Don't worry, this won't be too sloppy. I do not think there is need to write a public love letter. Let me talk instead about control. If I were to chart my need for company on a hierarchical pyramid of needs, it may have been somewhere in the middle. Not quite so necessary as peace, as comfort, as control. But that September, human closeness tumbled down Maslow's hierarchy so fast I felt the drop in my stomach. Past energy it fell, past peace and health and time, past things I thought were worth their weight in gold, past gold itself. That September, I listened to the lines of Stephen Sondheim. I listened to the lyrics, someone to sit in your chair and ruin your sleep and make you aware of being alive.
Someone to hold you too close, someone to hurt you too deep, someone to sit in your chair and ruin your sleep and make you aware of being alive, being alive.
That September, people asked me if living with someone was having an adverse effect on my health, and the answer was no. Not no because it wasn't, but no because that was the wrong question. What the right question was not clear to me either, but there was a new thread, a new importance. Before, I had felt as though I was missing life if I was not maximizing my total energy. I felt that my life would be half-lived if I was not doing as much as I could. This had been changing slowly, as I learned the beauty of stillness, of slowness, of sunsets. Before, I was adamant not to let anyone exhaust me. Now, I wondered what else there was. What else was more worthy of exhaustion? What else I had felt my energy was for?
Diane, it's 26th of September. We have a lead on some berries.
It's 2 minutes past 3, 26th September 2020.
Those berries will make a damn fine pie.
We just need to locate some berries, clean, reasonably priced.
My point is not to say that romantic love is the meaning of life, or that the key to happiness is to be saved by someone's presence. I would never say that. It's about that line, that wonderful Sondheim line. It's the idea that the things that ruin your sleep and sit in your chair are the very things that make you alive. For me, it comes down, as usual, to a Joan Didion quote. What I want to tell you today is not to move into that world where you are alone with yourself and your mantra and your fitness program or whatever it is that you might use to try to control the world by closing it out. I want to tell you just to live in the mess. Throw yourself out into the convulsions of the world. I think about this quote all the time. For a long time, I have lingered over that word, convulsions. I have wrestled with my urge to have my routines and my mantras and my peace and my order. I think we all feel that. We are nervous creatures born into a frightening world. I see it in the trends, our obsession with aesthetic minimalism, our lifestyle blogs, our morning routines. I pivot between believing that this obsessive ordering will be transformative to me, and then thinking that its underlying philosophy is troubling. that perhaps nothing can make me feel in control, that maybe the real peace comes from understanding the mess. Regardless, before this summer, not even Sondheim could truly convince me that it would be wise to allow someone to sit in my chair to ruin my sleep. As much as I appreciated the sentiment, I admit I was somewhat relieved that in 2020 the world's convulsions had quieted in my particular part of town. There I was in my fortress, in my treehouse in the clouds. Nobody could exhaust me, nobody could begrudge me my programs and my mantras. And then, that September, I think I finally started to understand the quote. It just so happened that the convulsions came to me in the form of a tiny illustrator with an obsession with Mary Oliver and a troubling caffeine dependence. It just so happened that it was about filling my peaceful home with laughter, with fun, with silliness. It was about ruining my careful sleep schedule, failing at my diets, interrupting my meditations. It was about finding out that the most important bits of being human, the most juicy and important bits of life, are not always something you have to train for. They do not require all that much strength, as it turns out, or a full night's sleep. That was September. It was eating takeout in a room full of paper and clothes. It was getting stressed about the news and crying and then laughing at memes and eating ramen in the middle of the night. It was walks and conversations. It was messy apartments, randomness, spontaneity. It was somewhere in the back of my mind, the little voice telling me that it didn't matter all that much that I wasn't fully healthy, because this is what I had hoped health would feel like. It would feel like being alive. More than muscles and energy and movement, what I had desired all along was this. Not her. I don't mean that I healed for her. I healed for me, to be sitting here, to be feeling alive. You are not a fortress. Sometimes it's good to let the convulsions in. And if you find you like the convulsions, sometimes it's good to let her stay.